Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Boobies!
Well, hi.
Oh, hello, and welcome to
Boobies.
Boobies.
That's right.
That's right. Oh, that is right. We're your hosts.
Who are
I'm
you?
Caitlin. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Joshua.
And Goopy just said meow. Meow.
Wait, give me your best meow.
Oh, she is. I think she sees a bird. She's going meow, meow.
What about, give me your best meow, Caitlin. Ooh.
Oh, did you hear her?
Yeah. I heard her, so I'm sure everybody else heard her. She's so cute.
She's talking to the, I think there's a birdie out there.
Meow. No.
That was good.
Meow. Meow, meow. No, that's Blue's Clues. My bad.
Blue's Clues.
Meow. 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 Can we just do the rest of the podcast and cat talk?
Or like that, you know, that dog, that bow, 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 ha papa, ha papa, papa, papa. I love
People
that
are turning off this episode as we speak right now. They're like, we're gonna skip this week.
First off, this isn't a horror movie. Second, y'all are only talking like the dog from the Little Cloud YouTube video.
And this is a horror movie because to the Midwest and to the poor people who have lost their lives to an F5 or any below tornado, this is a true American nightmare.
It's one of mine. We have been having a series of storms recently in Texas, and I'm sure Oklahoma as well, but we both live in Texas, so
yeah, boo, tomato, sorry. Anyways,
yeah, and I'm pretty sure my house got hit by a tornado, a small one. Maybe it didn't touch the ground, but the trees were all twisted up.
Yeah.
And I woke up, the tornado sirens were going off, and
that's scary.
The lightning was purple and green and like electric, like neon blue. It was like lighting up all sorts of different colors, and it was like illuminating the whole room. And I was like, I was freaking out.
Die.
Yeah, I was like, Andrew, we need to go get in the bathroom. Like, we need to get under the mattress. Like, we need to go. And he was like, it's fine. Go back to bed. And I was like, it's not fine. The sirens are going off.
Sucked away right now.
I know. We're in the suck zone.
The suck zone. Yeah, dude, it's pretty terrifying. I remember one time I had to have been like 8 or 9. We had a really bad storm. And I remember there was a tornado and it hit off of like Orchard Lane or something. It had to have been like 06, 07. I don't know. But I remember that one like storm like really like traumatized me. And like for probably like 5 years after that, I wanted to be a meteorologist and was like, but not because I was like actually had any interest really. I mean, it's cool to learn about like weather actually. But it was more of like, kind of like Joe in this movie. Like it was more like I need to learn everything about that shit because that's terrifying and like I do not want to die by a tornado. Yeah,
it is terrifying. It's you can't control it.
Yeah,
at all. Which is
you can't
like,
control much in life, but
you really can't control these.
Not many things are whirling. What is it like? I'm gonna look it up right now.
Cows.
If you keep, yeah, right. If you keep talking, and
the
keep them
18-wheeler full of
distracted.
petroleum that it threw at them. That was terrifying.
I know,
I was
right?
not a fan of that.
I'm
I was
trying to
like,
figure out. So it's F5. An F5 tornado is 261 to 318 miles per hour winds.
yeah.
That's like pretty wild.
And
That's
they can
crazy.
be up to like a mile wide.
Yeah, especially at the end in this one. Like, can you imagine
Mhm.
the levels of devastation that brings? That's crazy.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
whenever they panned out at the ending and they panned out of the field and stuff, you just saw like this, like it looked like, like how slugs leave that like slime trail.
Yes.
It was like that, but through the dirt, and it was just all like fucked up in that like mile wide trail that it went on.
Yeah, it's really devastating because like it happened so fast too, in a matter of minutes everything is fine and then it's not because your roof is gone and all of your, property is destroyed. Because there was that tornado in Temple a few weeks ago and had a friend show me pictures and like it was pretty bad. It's crazy.
Yeah, my friend had her window smashed through.
Yeah. Like yeah, so that just goes to show you that there's like so many different levels of like horror and like what we consider to be scary and like you know what I mean? Like it's not always just a demon or a ghost or a slasher. It's also the devastating forces of the world that we live in. So
nature. Yeah,
nature.
Like big tsunamis and stuff too,
Yeah.
also terrifying.
I was just watching, and not a horror movie, but kind of a horror movie, Interstellar, the other day. You've seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the planet with the waves, and they were like massively just like I couldn't like what? That's crazy. That's
that is
crazy because like obviously, I mean, even in a pool, but like like you've been to the ocean, right? You know that like the force of those waves when they like take you, and you're just like
they can hit you like a ton of bricks sometimes.
Literally, yeah. It's so powerful. It's beautiful and it's scary at the same time.
Yeah, but, especially when they get up to be like 3-story building tall and stuff.
You can't really do anything at that point. Or at any point, honestly. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, 1996 Twister, disaster thriller film directed by Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont.
Yeah, and it is from a screenplay by Michael Crichton, who's also did Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And it was produced by him and Kathleen Kennedy and Ian Bryce, Steven Spielberg. Like a bunch of like big time names are attached to this actually, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, it has Helen Hunt,
Bill Paxton, Carrie
Jamie Gertz, and it's a bunch of storm chasers chasing some tornadoes in Oklahoma, and it's pretty cool because it was released in theaters on. It's not, I guess, not really cool, but it was released on May 10th, and kind of hits close to home. Maybe we'll bring it in the fun facts later, but like here because Waco had a pretty severe tornado happen in 1951. But it was on May 11th. It was on May 11th, so which is also my birthday. Also,
I did not realize Philip Seymour Hoffman was Dusty.
Oh yeah, that's how long ago it was and how different he looks.
Yeah,
he looks so much younger. And like, yeah, no. I get what you mean. I mean that makes sense because it was 96, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, that's him.
I did not realize that Dusty was Philip Seymour. He looked very familiar, but definitely doesn't look like the Philip Seymour Hoffman that I
knew of. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Exactly. Carrie Elwes was. How do you say his last name?
I don't know how to say that, honestly. Ules or Ules, I don't know.
Ules?
But I would say, and maybe it's Elwes.
Elwes.
I don't know.
Well, he was in The Princess Bride, right? He was.
Yeah.
The prince.
To be aged with you, I've never seen The Princess Bride, but I just clicked his name on that thing, and yes, he was in The Princess Bride.
I
Robin
love The
Hood.
Princess Bride.
He was in Saw. Remember, he's the doctor in Saw.
Oh,
He's literally the main dude in Saw.
he is?
Yeah, he's the one that Doctor what's his face that Jigsaw's like he has him chained up, handcuffed by the ankle.
And he cuts his foot off?
Yeah, that's
wow,
him.
He looks a lot different in that. I guess he's older.
Yeah. But yeah. I guess so, yeah, because he plays Jonas. But also because in this film he has dark hair. I guess he also had dark hair in that. In Saw too, did he? No, I feel like he was more blonde, was he not? Yeah, he was more blondie. Yeah. So that's probably
He's
why.
blonde in this too.
Is that blonde? I thought it was like sandy blonde brown. I don't know.
I would still consider it to be blonde, but I don't know. But yeah, so lots of big names in this. We start off. Are we ready to jump in?
I'm ready for it.
Okay, we start off with start inside like a tornado kind of thing, and we get a very simple title card that just says Twister. I like the simplicity of it. Yeah. And then it just kind of blows away, and then we get some diegesis that says June 1969. And then the bridge that they pan over, I'm pretty sure I've driven on that bridge.
Oh, really? In Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's in Oklahoma. That's where my stepdad's family is from. So we've been to Oklahoma a lot, especially when my great grandma was still alive. We would go up there to visit her. Also, my great grandma was buried in a pink casket. How dope is that?
That's pretty dope. Grandma's pretty badass. Did she choose that?
I want to be like her. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That sounds pretty specific too. Oh.
She was a quilter. No, but my stepdad does. I have quilts, but they're not from her.
Quilting is such an art.
Yeah, it is.
I had a neighbor when I was younger who would make quilts for like her family members and like all these people. I used to pretend she was my grandma.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, her and Bob and Pat. And I'd go over and be like, "Hey, grandma, hey, grandpa, like, you're gonna play grandma, play grandpa." But I would call her, "You're my white grandma, you're my white grandpa." And they would she would always bake me cookies, and she would have candy for me. They would always have candy corn. And,
yum.
And she would clip out like my AB honor rolls and stuff from like the paper and all that stuff and collect them. Yeah,
that's so sweet. She was like a little grandma.
Oh yeah, a few years ago she had my mom come by, and like she gave her like a little folder of stuff I did not remember, like all these drawings and little colored things of like literally like they were my grandparents. Yeah.
That's so sweet. I love it. That is really sweet.
Yeah.
But then we've got a storm rolling in. We've got them, a guy who we later find out is Joe's dad, kind of watching the TV, standing up, and then seeing that there's a tornado warning. And we then get a mom waking up Joe, young Joe.
Yeah, little baby.
Taking her down to the storm cellar. They're like, "We got to get to the storm cellar quick." And then they almost leave Toby, the dog.
Poor Toby, they shut him out. And then she's like, "Toby's out there." And I love how the person on the news, the dude is like, "Don't go save your family. It's too late for them. You need to save yourselves." And so
there's no helping them now.
Yeah, they get to their storm cellar, and it's pretty intense because this tornado, which is I guess we can say now it's an F5, so it's just really massive and severe, and
the largest a tornado can be.
Yep. And the dad, which honestly, I don't think he needed to hold on to that. I think they would have been fine down there, because I don't think it would have, you know what I mean? Because it didn't take the mom,
or the little girl. Joe.
or Toby, and Toby is literally like 8 pounds.
Yeah, little tiny baby. So he probably could have lived.
Yeah, I just think that was poor choices on his part, unfortunately. But we would have never got the rest of the movie if that didn't happen. So
yeah,
Joe's dad dies.
Joe's dad, he gets sucked up into the tornado. You just see his little body go
yeet it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is what
prompted
her to become a storm chaser and a scientist on meteorologist kind of scientist thing. They tend to shit on the meteorologists, like when Bill later becomes a weatherman.
Yeah.
They're like,
I guess, storm chasers, just, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that a thing? Like, what is the storm chaser not essentially a meteorologist?
Yeah, I don't know. We're probably offending so many people right now.
I'm literally going to look it up.
But you know that Andrew sent me something today that with all these storms in Texas, people are paying $2,000 to $5,000 to be taken around by storm chasers and like get close to tornadoes.
They have too much money that they don't know what to do with it, to be honest. Because why would you want to do that? I mean, I get that they're cool. No, I totally get that. It's kind of cool to want to see it up close and all that. But I mean, like,
no.
But also,
I don't want to be nowhere near them.
Well, I mean, I guess you wouldn't. To me, it's like
I'm Melissa in this film. I want to be far away from them.
Out. How should I say that? I'm trying to think of like the way to word it, but it's more like I wouldn't pay thousands of dollars to put my life in danger in death's way. Like maybe like pay me $5,000 and I'll go in there. You know what I mean? But like not the other way around. Yeah. It just seems a bit cray. But yeah.
What's the difference between a meteorologist and
I right now, I'm gonna have to really, really like
deep dive.
Yeah, because it didn't. All I got was.
Well, storm chasers could just be crazy
anybody,
people.
Right? Just chasing a storm, yeah.
And a meteorologist is someone who's actually studied the weather. And it's like a scientist of weather.
So really, like the storm chasers are the shit. Oh, I'm so sorry, storm chasers. No, I didn't mean that. No. I meant.
I thought you said are the shit.
No, I did. They are the shit because they do such cool things. They really do. They really do. With no degree or a knowledge of what I mean, with all the experience in the world to back it up. Because that's what they have is field experience. And maybe not a lot of meteorologists meteorologists probably don't have that field experience. They're just learned by the book, and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure.
It's like me. I have no degree, but I have a bunch of field experience.
Well, literally me, I'm literally unqualified to talk about anything. And here we are just giving our opinions.
Yeah, same.
So let's just keep going.
I've never taken a film class in my life.
Oh, I at least took one.
Yeah, not me.
But only this past semester. So, and we are, Joe's dad is deady. Good, gone, bye. So now we're in the present day.
The place is fucking leveled.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Oh, yeah. We got to see like a nice pan out shot, long, whatever shot of the damage that happens after the F5 tornadoes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
but then we're present day, like you said. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. And then we're in the National Storm something laboratory.
National Severe Storm Laboratory.
There we go.
NSSL. And that weather, that satellite, it looked so fake. That was the only part of this film that didn't age very well.
There was another part. I think when they were coming out of the house that didn't look obvious. I mean, obviously it's not real, right? But I was like, oh yeah, that looks so fake. But that's
when they drive out of the house.
Yeah, when they're in it, it's good. It's when they come out of it and it looked fake to me. But watch this have been an actual practical stunt. They literally probably drove through a house.
That house just rolled over the road. It was wild. But yes, so present day, we're in the NSSL. And then they're talking about some storms, but then we very quickly flash to we're with Bill, played by Bill.
Literally, not too much of a reach there.
Nope. Bill Harding, played by Bill Paxton.
Yeah. And he shows up because shows up with Melissa, who is his girlfriend. And he's showing up because, they're talking about how Joe needs to sign some divorce papers so that way his and hers marriage can be dissolved and finalized and divorced. And
null and void.
Null and void, yeah. And then Melissa's, kind of like asking, like, well, do you think like she's gonna even sign the papers? And he's like, yeah, she's gonna sign the papers, like, no problem. But they end up getting there. And we see that, like, we cut to Joe and she's setting up satellite radar thing.
Yeah, she's working on some sort of radar on the top of the van. And then we're kind of going through meeting each member of the crew. The only member of the crew that I really got their name was Dusty and then Rabbit.
Yeah, those was literally because they mentioned those a lot, the most out of anybody.
Yeah, because once they get there, they first come across Dusty and he leaves Melissa with Dusty, which is like bad. Why would you do that? Because that's the other thing is that Philip Seymour Hoffman feels like such a respectable character, like man. And then he was playing this like total teenager.
Yeah. Like really gnarly dude and like not even that. Just very like from Workaholics.
Like horn dog kind of, but like
he inspired Workaholics, you know what I mean? The show, have you ever seen that show?
I've seen episodes of it.
Kind of like that vibe to me. But he probably shouldn't have left her with him on first introduction.
He just holds her hand. He walks away with her holding her hand the whole time. He like never lets go of it. And I'm like, that's so weird. But yeah, we are there. We're meeting the different members of the crew. Rabbit is like, don't fold the maps. You got to roll them. There's a big line through Arkansas right now, or Kansas or something.
Yeah. And then
Arkansas.
And then they're all kind of looking at Bill like kind of surprised to see him a little bit. And they're like, oh, and they keep saying, you're back. And he's like, I'm not back. And then he gets up to the truck where Joe's at, or van type of thing. And that's whenever she's kind of deflecting a lot. She's not focusing on what she knows he's actually there for. I mean, she obviously knows. And she's
definitely skirting around the issue, brushing around it, trying not to. She's like, oh, anything but the divorce papers.
Yeah. And that's whenever I think she brings up Melissa, but she calls her Miranda or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
she's
no.
Like, you sure there wasn't
a Miranda before her, something like that?
Yeah, and he's like, no, there's only been you. It's Melissa since you.
Yeah, and she's only bringing that up, I forget, because she's like, what's the rush in signing the papers? You aren't getting married or something, are you? And he's like, yeah, I actually am. So this is not just his girlfriend, it's his fiance.
Yep. And then we see that she's still wearing her wedding ring.
Yeah.
She moves a ring to her different finger to kind of hide. It looked like a class ring or something that she moved to her left ring finger to hide her wedding band. And then she's like, well, they're kind of talking and he's like, well, you got the papers, like we need to go. And she's like, she's here. And then he's like, yeah, I left her with Dusty. And she's like, you left her with Dusty? And she's like, well, why would you do that? So they run off.
She's like, I want to meet her.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, look at this. You got a new job, new truck, new wife. Like, it's a whole new you.
Yeah. It's so funny. I love how, too, she kind of called him out when they were talking about her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, not much for browsing, are you?"
Mm-hmm.
And here she comes again, deflecting Joe, and she brings up Dorothy because Dorothy is right there. And is it because Bill sees her? No, she just brings it up. She's like, "Oh yeah, you got to see this. It's like I'm glad you came."
Yeah, she's like, "It's about Dorothy." Dorothy.
Yeah.
And she says she's here. And he's like, "What?" And she was like, "Thought you'd want to be here for first time out. It wouldn't be right if you weren't," kind of thing. And then he's kind of in awe going around looking at Dorothy, and Melissa comes up and she's like, what is that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? And then the sensors, he's basically explaining that the sensors go up inside a tornado and can increase, they'll read all the specs of the tornado, and it can hopefully help increase warning times from 3 minutes to 15 minutes.
Which is a significant jump in time. Those 13 minutes probably make a difference in saving someone's life. Is that right? 12 minutes, my bad. The way I cannot count. But yeah, and Melissa,
I was willing to agree with you.
Melissa's just, she's like, oh, she doesn't seem that impressed, TBH. She's kind of like, okay, well, can we sign the papers?
Yeah.
But she is nice though. She is very cordial. I will say, out of all of this, Melissa's like, I guess because she's a therapist, I don't know. Maybe she, by the end of this, was just thinking, I'm an idiot. I need to leave.
Which is what, I think she did do once she saw them interact a bit. Because she called Joe out on her shit immediately, like in that cafe.
And
she was
diner.
Like, "You're still in love with him." Yeah, and she's like, "What? No, I'm not." Gets all defensive, and she deflects again. I don't think she gets defensive, but she's like, "No," and they go on. But yeah, and then we get Dusty coming in again, and he's being creepy. He's like, "The suck zone," and like whispers it in her ear, kind of thing. And it was like, Dusty, no, that's creepy.
A bit much for meeting someone on the first time and they don't know your personality and all that. And even then, just a much.
Yeah, probably crossing some boundaries. But then it's tornado chasing time.
Yep. Because we get an alert. We need to go now.
Everyone's rolling out like the Autobots. Mm-hmm. They get up and they're ready to go, and then Melissa's the only one who's thinking straight, because Bill's like, "Woohoo, let's go!" And then she's like, "Did she sign the papers?" And he's like, "Oh shit!" So let's catch up with them, kind of thing.
Which is going to be the death that the kiss of death to their relationship.
The nail in the coffin.
Literally, because the rest that happens just totally brings back Joe and Bill to each other slowly but surely. Not
even slowly. He abandons Melissa immediately. He's like,
pretty true.
Joe and I are going in the truck together.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
I mean, not quite yet, but
I mean, he's trying to protect her, I'm sure, as well. Not put her like right in the first line of fire. But honestly, though, he obviously didn't care for Melissa as much, because even like the times later with the water, after the water spout scene, and she's all freaked out, and he just is all jumping with Joe for a while.
Yeah.
But we have them going off. They're trying to catch up with him, and then we see Jonas is on the road, and they end up kind of cruising up next to them. And is this whenever
they say he's in it for the money, not the science, and he doesn't have instincts, and he doesn't have Dorothy.
They're laying down a lot of heavy smack about Jonas.
Yeah.
And then,
which is going to be his downfall later when he doesn't have the instinct.
Yeah, very true. And they end up, they almost run into one of Jonas's trucks or drivers, right?
Yeah, they run him off the road. They ran Bill off the road.
That's what it is. And they pop a tire.
His tire pop. And they pull over they all stop at like a little rest stop that has a tire shop and a cafe and stuff. And basically then we see this interview with Jonas, and he's stolen Bill's idea and design for the .3.
What a loser.
Yeah, literally even as like Dorothy almost.
Yeah,
with it being dot.
Literally so close, and then like it's all subtle differences that he's made to just kind of make it almost seem like it's his, but it's not.
Yeah, it's got like
cubes instead of spheres for the little things. Right?
Yes. Sorry, I got a text message that like someone was getting married, but it says Rachel and Andrew, and I'm like, who's Rachel and Andrew?
Who's marrying my boyfriend?
I know.
Could you imagine?
My cousin. It's my fucking cousin.
That's cute.
I forgot that
you have a cousin?
Yeah, I forgot that I have a cousin. No, I forgot that her boyfriend, or now fiance, is now named Andrew. Now named is always named Andrew.
I was about to say, what happened? When did he change his name? Giving protective services. Ow. Do your nails hurt? Like, do you ever, when you take fake nails off or whatever, does it hurt your real nails?
Yeah.
Or do they feel like kind of tender after?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's normal then. Okay. And then we have freaking, because obviously Bill is like, oh no, that's my shit. He goes over and immediately starts to confront Jonas. And I guess Joe already knew about Jonas doing this because she's trying to like warn and stop Bill and be like, don't do it. Don't go over there. But Bill goes over there and honestly, just like it's on sight, like just pulls him over and just like got him by the shirt and it's just like, how dare you? And he's laying it on him.
Yeah. And then he even brings up a like low blow because he's like something about weatherman.
Yeah.
And that pisses off Bill even more. And so then he like Joe's already tried to defuse the situation, but he is like now like even more pissed. Yeah. And so he's like trying to get in there again. And then finally they're able to separate them. And then this is where I was like, I guess it's bad to be a meteorologist. I don't get it. But at least it's like steady work, and it could give you more credibility, and it's a steady paycheck, and
I don't know.
I'd
like to be a weatherman.
Yeah.
Everybody
Andy
loves
Anderson.
the weatherman. Who hates the weatherman?
Not me.
I don't. Yeah. And so weatherman's just bringing facts. You know what I mean? Like weatherman's just laying it down. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd try to make jokes if I was a weatherman.
Yeah, I've seen some really clever weathermen.
But
weather people.
Right? Because it's not just men, Caitlin. Also weather theys.
Weather theys.
And weather she's.
Weather she's. Weather humans.
There we go. And pretty soon weather AI.
Yeah, probably.
Literally already happening. And then we have after all of those interactions happening, we're in the diner and Joe comes in and Jonas is trying to walk out, but then he's like trying to ask her for like basically help, essentially.
Yeah, because
intel on the storms and stuff. And then he's also ragging on Bill.
Yeah, and then standing also like way too close
to Melissa.
To Joe, I thought. I thought he was like kind of flirting with her a little bit.
Oh, like him. Yeah. I get what you mean.
And I was like, boy, back off.
Yeah.
But then he leaves basically, and then she's like, classic Jonas. He never changes. And Melissa's like, what? And she's like, he's waiting to see what Bill does because he has no instinct, as Bill said earlier. And then this is where Melissa kind of out of left field is like,
you still love him.
You still in love with him. And both Andrew and I went, oh, damn. While watching
She don't play no games.
She didn't. She was like, let's get right to the point. You still love him. And
I love that.
Then she goes, not that I blame you. I just hope this isn't some desperate attempt to keep him in your life. And I was like, Oh, Dib's fighting words.
She's really saying like I'm the new one now. Like you don't have to
better
step aside.
move along. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And yeah, like you said, Joe is like skirting around it, just basically like, no, like I'm not in love with him. But doesn't even deny it really. And then at all. And then Joe starts talking about Bill and how he's like a human barometer. Or that might have already happened, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that might have been what she said right before.
All within the same conversation.
Yeah.
And then we're leaving the diner because there's another storm.
And it's going green.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean, Caitlin?
Green skies mean tornado is on its way. Green or purple can be confusing because if it's nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe purple skies can be an indicator of a tornado as well. But then as we saw in this film, it could just be, oh my God, I thought your nail itself was pulling off Joshua. I was like,
no, it's just a press on. My bad.
Okay.
Continue.
But yes. And so purple, green skies, green or what's mainly green or yellow too. Like a yellowish green can be a pretty bad sign that a tornado it's tornado
imminent
conditions.
Yeah.
And this is where he leaves Melissa by herself and goes with Joe.
Yes.
He leaves her in the car by herself and like he's like, drive the truck. And I was like, girl, boy, she never chased the storm before. Like, why would you leave her by herself?
Because he doesn't care about Melissa. He doesn't. It's all eyes on Joe now at this point. And the tornado, I guess. And Dorothy. But still.
I hate blondes. Was that from Pearl?
Oh yeah, Pearl. Mm-hmm. And that's we have them on Chasing the Storm, and Joe and Bill
it's from X technically.
Oh yeah, you're right. From old Pearl. And then we have them, Joe and Bill in the truck, and they're driving, and Bill can't drive for shit because him and Joe are basically arguing. Because and you know they're trying to.
And Melissa can't drive either. Melissa behind them, she forgot the lemonade on the car for starters, and then she was like, she was trying to answer the phone, and she was all over the road. She was like, boom, 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 and I was like, girl, can you drive?
Yeah, can you imagine? She's trying to speak to like a client of hers and trying to give therapy advice, and I mean, honestly.
And she's needing therapy herself now because her fiance's ran off with his ex-wife.
And she's chasing.
Not
only them, but a tornado.
A tornado.
So they end up all of it. Though I was thinking about it like before we were recording, and I was just like, this movie is extra because not only are we chasing tornadoes, but they're throwing this like whole relationship drama into the mix of it all. Like that's crazy. It really
love triangle.
It honestly really is a lot of drama. And so they're Joe and Bill almost end up crashing into like a tractor because he can't pay attention to the road. And then we have the guy, I don't know his name, being like, hey guys, are y'all going to wrap this up soon? Because I'd like to chase this tornado. And they're like, fuck. And so they get off the road and get into a ditch. And also Jonas is following them, of course. Their party ends up showing up. But Joe and Bill end up getting into a field, and then somehow they get themselves into a ditch, a gully type of thing. I don't know how to. It's not a ditch because it's for irrigation for the water.
Yeah, which would be a ditch.
Is it a ditch? Okay.
Yeah, but it's like a long ditch and an intentional one. That's been dug out, and they had lots of funny, cute banter too in between. Like their dynamic, you really get to see it in this scene as they're driving out and about and stuff. And like whenever she asks, can I drive? And then she's like, then would you? Because he's like driving off the road and stuff and almost hits something. before they get into the ditch. And then that's when we see the big old tornado there, and we see it like suck up a house and just destroyed like this big house barn looking thing. I don't know. But it's, I guess it was only what they say later is an F2, possibly an F3. Oh no, that one was an F2. And I think it's an F2. Yeah. So not a tiny tornado, but kind of big. And they are driving in that little ditch and they can't get out of it because it's too tall on either side. Like the truck is like almost under, like the walls of the ditch are like up to the passenger doors and stuff. Yeah. And so they can't get out of it. And so they run into this bridge thing and they get out of the car. Which I was surprised the debris alone didn't kill them here.
But so many times in this movie where the debris should have killed them, I feel.
Yeah.
But probably because movie magic. But their lives were literally in danger because, especially with those winds, like anything becomes a projectile missile at that point.
Yeah. So fast, it just impales you. Yeah. And they are too close. They can't get away. They try to like get Dorothy out, but they can't do it. And then fucking Joe, they get under the bridge and they like are holding on to things, but then Joe's like, I want to see. And I'm like, girl,
see it.
You don't need to see it. You've seen one already. It sucked up your daddy.
Yeah, well, I feel like almost it's like her body almost instinctually only knows to go back to that same thing that she did as a little girl when she literally like ran up to it, essentially.
Yeah.
Chasing her dad. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a part of it too.
Yeah.
And then all that trauma response. But yeah, like also me too. I'm like, you dumb bitch, because you know what? He pulls her back and then she ends up facing the opposite direction anyways, not even looking at it anymore. She was facing it, coming towards her, and then just kind of cuddles up down there. And then it passes over them. And
sucks up the truck.
They somehow survive. It sucks up the truck. And the other guys are still driving, mind you, because I guess they were that far back. And they're like, oh my God, did you guys see? Are y'all okay? Did y'all see that? And then I love how she's like, where's my truck? And then it just falls out of the sky right in front of Melissa.
Yep, and Melissa dodges the truck. And they're barely. Like, yeah, barely. And then Dusty's like, you see that? She missed the truck. And just going on about how she missed the truck, and she's like freaking the fuck out, rightly so.
She's in hysterics.
And then basically Joe's truck is upside down on the road, and Jonas's team, who is late to the party, shows up and they don't stop to help them.
Yeah.
And then
losers.
Yeah. And then they are going, and she's getting all of her shit out of the truck that she needs, and is basically looking at Bill saying like, we gonna use your truck now? And he's like, absolutely not. And then next scene, they're driving in the truck.
I love how she's just like, does it have insurance? Right?
Yeah. And he's like, liability. And she's like, liability. And so then, yeah, but then they get in the car and they're going after another storm. They've got Dorothy 2 locked and loaded, and it's kind of a big one. They say it's a sidewinder. It's going to shift pass, and it's possibly up to an F2, possibly an F2, or possibly an F3. So up to an F2, possibly an F3.
Pretty big and strong one. And that's whenever they end up going to. Is this when they're cutting through the fields, right? Rabbit's telling him to go through the fields, and he's like, just go through here. No, that's later. My bad, because that's when they almost.
I think that's Jonas. A little bit later.
It's just a little bit up ahead. But yeah, they're this is whenever they're going through, and they're talking about how it's the battle zone. No,
I think so. Yeah, because then my next one note says, a water spout, 2 of them.
Oh yeah. But right before that is when we got the cows, though.
Yeah, and there's my next note after that is poor cow flying.
Yeah. And so then we have the 3 water spouts. Melissa's in the car this whole time. She's also taking phone calls from her client. I think the same client. And then that's whenever, after all of that crap happening, and then the water spouts, they didn't get a Dorothea, but they pull over on the side of the road on like a bridge thing, and that's whenever he's with Joe, like really happy and excited, like they're jumping up and down, trolling in circles, and then Melissa's over there in the truck once again, just kind of like freaked out, and she's just like, and then he's like, "Oh crap, I gotta go over there and like console her."
Yeah, Melissa isn't cut out for it, and I said, "Me neither, girl." I loved when she was on the phone with her client, and she's like, "I gotta go, Julia. We've got cows.
We got cows.
We got cows," because the cows were just going moo in front, and then there's another one, and Bill's like, "I think it's the same one. It's just getting whipped around."
Yeah, poor thing. If it is, but also if any cows, but we have them. Then the gang catches up with them, and they're talking to the gang.
Yeah,
and
they're a bunch of teenagers because they're like, food.
That's right. They want to go to Aunt Meg's because they're close by.
Yeah, they're close to Wakita, which is where Aunt Meg lives. And so then the next scene is them pulling up to Aunt Meg's house, getting out of the car. A big happy reunion comes. She's like, Bill, and so excited to see him again, sees Joe. And then she goes in and she's making steak and eggs and mashed potatoes and lots of other things, like a big old like Thanksgiving dinner for him. She had rolls.
Yeah.
Or biscuits or something. I know. I was like, the mashed potatoes look good. And then brown gravy, yum.
And
I can't even eat most brown gravies, but.
Oh, yeah, because of the meat.
And
so we get this nice reunion moment, and we have them all kind of talking and catching up over dinner. And they're basically just telling embarrassing stories of Bill to Melissa.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I like I think it was Rabbit. He was like, if you're in a lightning storm, you got to grab your ankles so it can get hit in the booty hole. He didn't say booty hole, but, and he said in your anus or something. And then the girl was like, yeah, it's the most likely to survive orifice or something. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Good.
I wonder if that's true facts. Grab your ankles and put your booty hole in the air.
Jokey, but it could be true. It might just tickle.
Yeah, like when you get waxed, there's like no nerve endings in the hair follicles when you get waxed. So like when you get your booty hole waxed, it doesn't hurt. It's just warm.
I'm sure it would feel good, no?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really feel it.
Never mind. But
maybe for some.
Anyways, and then we get onto the subject of the F5 tornadoes, about the strength of the tornadoes.
Yeah.
And they're going on she was asking what the ones that they just seen were, and then she's like, well, has anybody?
It's called the Fajita scale.
Yeah, Fajita, which sounds a lot like something else.
Vaginas.
Vagina. Oh, my bad.
Vagina, fajita.
Fajita, yeah.
Oh, I could go. I'm gonna text Andrew. Oh, damn it! I gotta go up to the store tonight. I was gonna say let's go get fajitas at Chewy's.
Ooh,
Mexican I just get grilled veggies, and it's got corn in it.
Oh, I was about to say, wait a minute, you don't eat fajitas? How would you even eat fajitas? Yeah,
it's like peppers, onions, corn. Sometimes like mushrooms, like zucchini and stuff, and it's all grilled and prepared, like comes on the sizzling plate and stuff.
Like fajitas, but it's veggie.
Yep. And it's cute. Delicious.
And like, you just eat it like that, or with like some tortilla, or?
Yeah, I get some tortilla, and then I get a little sour cream, and the refried beans at Chewy's are vegan. So I eat those. And then I don't really put the rice on it too much. Because then the taco's getting too big.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I get it.
I always do make my fajita tacos like way, way too big. I load them up and I can only eat 2 before I'm like tapping out.
How many can you make?
Normally when I buy the fajitas at Chewy's, I get like 3 meals out of it.
That's great. That's good. Good for you.
So I think it makes about 6 tacos.
Yeah. Well, that's reasonable. If it's just veggies, I mean, honestly, it's not like they're losing out on just giving you extra veggies.
Yeah.
They're probably like literally in the back. They're like, she needs more food. She only wants veggies. Give her more veggies. She needs to eat something.
She got bulk up. Anyways, back to the Vegeta scale.
Vegeta, yeah. And she's like, has anybody seen an F5? And they're like, only one of us has. And then they all look up. Not really, but we're all like talking about Joe.
Yeah, they just kind of imply that it's Joe.
Yeah, because she at this point went to go take a shower, I believe.
Yeah. And she kind of asks, like, they're like saying an F4 will relocate your house pretty efficiently. And then she asks if there's an F5 and what it's like. And he's like, the finger of God. And just one of them had seen it, and it was Joe as a kid. And then
that's crazy.
Right as Joe gets back, we got a little nice moment with Aunt Meg and Joe upstairs. She's saying, doesn't matter what you put on, you're always going to be beautiful. Such an aunt thing to say.
Yeah.
And she's talking to her about that. And then they're talking about like, well, Bill's here, isn't he? Like, maybe there is some hope kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it's go time yet again. And it's time to go chase another one. They've got so many storms right back to back.
One more time. That's what it's giving. Wow, 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 wow. That's literally the only part I know. One more time.
Dancing.
Oh, we got cows. We got cows. Jazz is about to walk in. It's cool.
Oh, okay. One more time.
And so we are going, and they're taking off, and they're cutting. This is where they're cutting through the fields, and Rabbit's telling him where to go. And I was also thinking, like, how are they not getting stuck at any point through all these?
Yeah, I know, because some of them were driving like station wagons.
Oh yeah, and they weren't like roads, like they were just fields. Like
they literally drove through. They cut through a cornfield right now.
Yeah,
and I'm like, corn stalks they're pretty stocky. It's hard to get through them. Yeah, I imagine that would get caught up. Anyways, yeah, they make it through. He's put her with Dusty yet again.
Yeah,
Melissa, and they're going down Route 33 now, and we finally are seeing the tornado, and it's over half a mile wide, and that thing is nasty looking, and it is heading right for them. It was black. Like the other tornadoes were like the other tornadoes were, kind of gray, like smoky color. This one was like pitch black.
Yes.
And it just, it looked like like the Dementor smoke that comes off of them.
Oh yeah.
It looked like that.
I wonder, because obviously I'm like, tornadoes are what they are from what they suck up, right? Like what color they are from what they suck up. So like, I wonder if that's like the type of dirt, or so much dirt that it's just black, or the clouds mixed into it. Like I'm curious as to like why the color varies.
All the different colors.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because I've seen another movie where it's like, I'm sure this doesn't really happen that often, but like there was another tornado movie, Storm Chaser movie, where maybe you've seen it, where a tornado had like blew up like I guess it was like an oil tank. It was kind of like how this one had like a gas tank thing, but instead of just like throwing it and blowing it, like the flames became part of the tornado.
Oh yeah, because this one, when the gas like truck exploded. It had, I think I have one of my notes is like, oh shit, a fire tornado. Yeah. Oh,
okay, yeah.
Oh, it goes that. Okay, so I have that thing is nasty and it's heading right for them, and then I put, oh shit, a boat, because a boat came flying out at them, and then I put fire tornado. It was so scary. Oh, could you imagine just a flaming tornado coming at you?
No, I'm okay.
No, thank you. I would.
I do like a
die.
good thrill, but that seems a bit much.
Yeah, not only getting impaled by something, but then also getting burned alive.
At the same time.
Whoa.
At the same time. That's a lot of pain. My threshold for pain is not that high, I feel like.
No,
so
not to be burned alive and impaled.
It's giving Olaf.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've been impaled.
And he also melts a few times.
He does from fire.
Yeah.
Not from the sun, which is fire.
They
in the middle of summer
are, oh Lord, I'm lost. Wait, where
well, we had the fire tornado, and then they basically, right as they get Dorothy out of the car, or it falls out of the car, truck, and they are trying to like scoop up Joe is trying to scoop up all the sensors. Bill is like, get the fuck out of here.
Bill is trying to use his reason because he knows that they're way too close, like they're not safe.
Yeah, and because it's a cone of silence, it's been back building, and he was like, it's gonna drop right on us.
I love that part because she's like, it's gonna drop around us. He's like, not around us, right on us.
Yeah, and then she's like, I gotta do this, and then he says something like, and you can hear it on the radio too, and because he was like, just forget it, and I was like, bro, her dad died in one of these, she can't just forget it. And then he's going on and he's saying, you got to look around, like look at what's right in front of you. And then she was like, well, what is it? And he was like, me, Joe. And Melissa heard the whole thing, and I was like, oh,
yikes. Awkward. And she never even tells him that she hears it. But that's just a lot of intel for her to know where he truly is, his heart is.
Yeah.
Because he obviously is also still in love with Joe. And all of this interaction with her and like being back with her has brought all the feelings that I'm sure he's been like suppressing and ignoring because he's been hanging out with Melissa. And so, yeah, I love how it's unfortunate and it sucks too because she's just hearing it and like Dusty's right next to her. And I love how she's kind of looking at him like kind of like I don't even, the look of like kind of embarrassed almost.
Yeah.
Like, like she's like, well, this fucking sucks.
I'm just an afterthought here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my note just says poor Melissa.
Yeah.
And now they've wasted. Yeah, she did. And they've wasted 2 Dorothys now.
Mm-hmm. They had 4 to begin. We should have said that. They have 4.
Yeah. 4 to begin with. And now 2 Dorothys have fallen over or got sucked up, but didn't open and release because it wasn't primed and ready.
Yeah.
Because it got sucked up in the truck. But then we're at a drive-in movie theater and we've got The Shining playing. So it is a horror movie after all.
It is. I love how they have that in there, kind of playing homage to other horror movies and stuff. And then to well, no, never mind. Wait, did Spielberg have anything to do with The Shining? Did he produce? Did he anything? Did he? No, because that's Kubrick.
Yeah, it's Kubrick.
So, anyways, we have The Shining playing, and I love drive-in theaters. Those are so cool.
Yeah, until there's a real big tornado that's about to drop on you.
Literally, because they're at the drive-in. Everybody's kind of doing their own separate thing a little bit. And then this is whenever we have Joe and Bill at the coffee place. They're trying to order coffee.
Yeah, Joe's just ordered 8 coffees and she's also takes a pen to sign the divorce papers.
Oh yeah.
But then Bill comes over and they're talking, and she says to him, Dorothy might be too light.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that they need to make her heavier and make the sensors so they don't just get thrown out from the tornado. And then my next note just says one is possibly forming over them right now.
Oh yeah, because and Melissa's in the motel room, so there's a news thing going on that's kind of flickering in and out. So you can tell that she's considering leaving because she's like playing around with the ring on her finger. And then while Bill and Joe are over there getting coffee, they can see that the TV screen is going in and out.
Yeah. And then that's when they're like, yeah, it's going to staticky. And that's when they're like, oh, shit.
And then what's his face? One of their crew members is like, it's coming right for us. Is it Dusty?
Yeah, I think it was Dusty.
Yeah, it's Dusty, yeah. Coming right for us. So they have to act quickly. Bill goes to get Melissa, who's now like running out of her hotel room because she's been noticing what's been going on as well. And we have Joe
now she's an expert.
Yeah, and then we have Joe just hypnotized, and Bill right now a little bit by what the storm growing around them. And then as they start to run, you can see that the tornado starts to rip through the big old cinema screen.
Yeah, and I love how it destroys the screen as he's destroying the door in The Shining.
That's pretty cool. Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. Yeah, she's just looking at it like a psychopath, just in awe. And I was like, oh, girl,
we need to go.
Get you out.
Yeah.
But then they're all hiding under kind of, what was it, like a car shop or something?
It's a car shop, and like the little pit underneath the car shop where they can change the oil and stuff.
Yeah. Underneath. So that's where they were.
That's what I feel like it was. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. They were down in this little pit, but then the tornado's big. It's an F4.
I want to say it was an F4. Yeah. And then it grew into an F5 by the time it got to, or it was still an F4 at this point. I think it's still an F4 when it hits Wakita.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an F4.
And then it grows into an F5 by the end of the film. It's the same tornado.
It is the same tornado?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was the same one that was the same storm cell. I mean, maybe I'm sure it like.
Oh, yeah. It came back up.
But it's the same massive storm. So that's why it was because it ended up merging with that other storm at some point.
Yeah. That the NSSL was talking about.
The Huda Hada.
But yeah, they're down there and the building is getting destroyed and hubcaps are flying around. One hubcap comes around, slices homeboy's head right open. Doesn't kill him though, I don't think.
Poor guy.
But he did get a nice surface wound right across his forehead. Probably going to leave a scar. They're putting pressure on him, and then cars start getting lifted up and thrown onto them, and the movie sign, like the big movie theater sign, crashes down and comes into the room, and it just fucks that area up, all except for the little diner where they ordered the coffee. That place looked remarkably fine,
but it really did.
I was like, they would have been better staying there.
It really said, you know what, guys, you were due for this, and I'm taking taxes and I'm collecting interest. It really came for them. Unfortunately, or fortunately, everybody survived, and they are all kind of getting out. The police show up. They're kind of looking around at the damage, all kind of surprised and obviously a bit shook.
And apparently it just sideswept him. Like that wasn't even the real tornado, like the core of the tornado that hit them is what they said. And I was like, well, it basically flattened that area. Yeah. And then this is where we figure out Wakita's about to get hit, and Aunt Meg. We got a little flash of Aunt Meg earlier, noticing that stuff was going wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, we
And
see that it's about to hit Wakita. So I was like, oh no, not Aunt Meg. I forgot that she lives. I thought she died. And so I was like, no, not Aunt Meg. But I forgot she gets out. So
yeah, she makes it. She's a final
but I
girl.
was real sad at first.
Miss Meg is a final girl. But yeah, and Bill is gonna go tell Melissa, like, hey, you wait here. I'm gonna go and make sure that Meg's okay. And Melissa's like, you know what? I won't be here when you come back, essentially, because I can tell that you're in love with Joe. And you know what? She needs you more. She needs you right now. And don't worry about me, because I never had a problem finding my way back home.
Yeah. And then she says, and you know what? I'm not even that upset.
So what does that even mean?
Yeah.
It means, oh, and I love how she even said, like, we both knew it would have ended sooner or later.
Yeah. I was like, damn.
For real.
You said yes to marrying this person.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, she just turns. I love how she just turns around, and I'm just like, I'm legit. Like, how in the hell are you gonna get home? Like, you don't. You have no
You don't have a car.
You don't have no, like, this is not Uber days. Like, this is 96. Like, but I guess she'll find a way. And so then we have them leaving to go to Wakita, and they end up getting there, but by the time they get there, it's too late, and it is fucked.
It is fuck. That's exactly what my notes say. We're driving through the rubble, and Joe sees herself in that little family that's sitting in the rubble. Like it was a dad, a mom, and a little blonde girl. And I think she saw herself in that little girl. Yeah. And then they finally make it to Aunt Meg's house, and it's like destroyed and caving in on itself. And they rush in to find her, and they're searching for Meg. And then thankfully Mose, the doggy, says, bark, bark, and it signals them as to where Aunt Meg is. And so they're able to go down there.
Is Miss Meg. She's been through it, and she just fell through this whole house all the way to the very bottom.
Yeah, and because she said she didn't even have a chance to get downstairs, but she was at like the base,
literally.
And so she's fallen through, and she has like a building, like a wall joints on her that is like crushed her. She's been crushed by all the rubble, and her head is bleeding pretty badly. But they thankfully are able to find her, get the rubble off of her, and then they get her out of the house. And then she's like, Bill, would you get Mose for me? I think he's a little shaken up. And so then he goes back in, gets Mose, and not before he steps off of that little roof thing does the house come crashing down. Yeah, he barely made it out.
Very Monster House.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen Monster House?
Yeah. That's the one with the uvula, right?
Yeah, and the house is like, it's a cartoon, but like the house is alive, and then it at the very end, like, crashes in on it.
Oh, like, that's what it or Carrie.
Oh yeah, very much like that too. Same vibes. But yeah, we are very much in that same boat here.
I love when they get her into the ambulance, and she's like, "Oh, I don't need to go in no ambulance." She goes, "I'm gonna drive myself." And one of the EMTs just goes, "Honey, your tree's in a car around the corner, or your car's your car's in a tree.
Your tree's in a car. Put it on a shirt, honey. Your tree's in a car. No, you with the honey, honey. Your tree's in a car."
That's exactly what I wrote it wrong in my notes. Your car's in a tree around the corner.
Oh, that's funny. But yes, and she's just like, just leans back, and it's all right, just lets them do their thing. But yeah, it's just kind of hitting close to home. And then we have Bill and Joe looking, or Joe, I think, is the one. Is she the one who comes up with it first? She's like, I think I have an idea on how to make Dorothy fly.
Yeah, because she looks at
the windmills.
And yeah, she sees. We also see that So it was a F4 that hit Wakita. And then the NSSL is predicting that it's an F5, and it's the strongest in 30 years that's possibly forming.
Yeah.
And Aunt Meg thankfully made it out with just a bump on the head and maybe a broken wrist. And so she made it out okay. But then she's sitting there looking at the windmill thing, little, kind of windmill-esque wind chime looking thing. And she gets the idea for Dorothy by looking at it. And she goes, I know how to make Dorothy fly. And so then she's like, we're going to need tin cans and scissors and a bunch of like glue or something. I don't remember exactly what she says, but the car revving its engine.
Oh, yeah. But yes. And
they start giving Dorothy wings.
There's like a montage, essentially. Little montage of them prepping and cutting out all the little soda cans and giving her wings so that she can fly.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Red Bull. And then at this point, this is whenever we go to chase which also they did all that very quick.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's moving. This movie's moving fast along now.
Now that I think about it, yeah. And so then they end up going to go chase the tornado.
Yep, and they are going along, and that thing is thick with 3 C's.
Thickums.
That motherfucker was big.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, no, this is really scary. One of those dark and mile-wide tornadoes.
Yep.
Tornadoes.
They were saying that, and then they're loading up all the Dorothys, and they're planning to leave them in the middle of the path for the tornado. But then as they're driving along, they unload Dorothy, and they get her in the pathway. But unfortunately, a whole tree comes out, and then it like impales Dorothy, knocking her over. And then the same tree ends up, they're like all kind of spun around, and they're trying to go and get away. But this tree gets up underneath the truck and stuck on it. So they're stuck on this tree. And then this is where the fucking 18-wheeler like is coming for them. And I was like, and it's a gas one. It said petroleum on it or something. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this motherfucker's going to explode.
And sure enough, what does it do? Well, one, thankfully, because they're trying to back up and get out of the way, it ends up nudging them just a little bit for them to get loose off the tree and drive off. But it also goes back into the air a little bit more and then gets dropped back down and then explodes right next to them.
Yep. And it's real scary. And then they're basically unloading the last Dorothy now. And we just got news that the base is a mile wide of this tornado. And they're going to unload it, but they're driving along, and then they realize Jonas is there too, driving along an opposite road. And they're trying to warn him. And they're saying, hey, this tornado is going to shift and it's going to be heading right for you. Like, you need to get off this path right now. And because you're going to die. And then they aren't listening.
Yep. And so, and then Jonas is, Bill's even trying to talk to Andy. I think that was his name. His driver. I think I caught it. It was Andy. And trying to be like, hey, like, I know you're in there, like, whatever you do, like, listen to me. And then he's even like telling Jonas, like, hey, I really don't think he would try to put us in harm's way. And Jonas is a dick and is just like, I don't pay you to like give me your opinion. I pay you to drive. So drive.
Yeah. It was real rude, and fucking Andy gets the worst of it.
Literally gets impaled by one of those triangle metal things.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are, what are those used for, Caitlin?
I don't know. Like,
why?
Maybe like around like a energy pole. What are those called? Like electrical pole.
I don't know, but that seems right. Yeah. And I think people, you guys imagine those triangle looking things that are metal and they have like bars, they're long and they go upright, and you drive past them on a highway and they're part of those little power plant looking things with the white rocks and sand.
Yeah. And he gets impaled by it, and then they get picked up, they get sucked right up, and then they get dropped from a high altitude. So then the car just explodes.
And his whole film crew is watching and everything.
And then this is where I was like, this, yeah, I know. They were all watching and just like, oh shit. But this is where I was like, this thing sounds like it's growling. And one of my fun facts is that they took a camel's moan and slowed it down. And that was like what was used as the sound of tornado. No.
And they used it as the sound of the tornado?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Camel moan, though. I wonder why they settled on the camel's moan.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what they did. And that's what made the sound, because it sounded like it was growling, like it was real creepy. But then we've got Bill and Joe going, fuck, we told him so. And he was like, God damn it. And Joe was like, we tried all that we could, like it's not our fault kind of thing. And then they're driving along, and then this fucking house just on its side
rolls out of nowhere
right onto the road. And he's like, I guess we're going in. And so then they drive right through this house, go up the stairs. That was really cool. And they were like, yeah. And then they bust through the other side. And this is where you thought it looked a little fake.
I thought it did. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just me. Just when they bust out.
I would need to watch it closer. I think I was in the middle of writing my note. Like I saw them bust through, but I think I think my eyes
they were already through
up there. Yeah.
I mean, it was the moment when they're actually coming out of the house, like that, like quick 2.5 second moment. Yeah, it just looks really fake.
And then this is where they're like, maybe we should get off this road. And I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
maybe you should.
That fucking a long time ago.
Get away from it, and then but they're heading directly for it. And this, I put, oh my God, I'm nauseous for them. Like, I was like, this is so scary. Like, just heading into a mile-wide tornado.
Just a typical Tuesday.
So scary.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Are you just talking silently?
No, I was yelling at them. I pushed mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so we are.
Like we were just. Yeah, that's what I thought you were doing.
No, I was yelling at them. Sometimes I have to raise my voice a little bit so they know I mean business. And look, they're all doing it.
Now they're laying down.
Because didn't nobody tell y'all to bark? Thank y'all for alerting me that nobody is breaking into the house. Anyways, and the times that they should be barking, they don't bark. Anyways, so now they're gonna send in the fucking truck to into the tornado, because they're realizing that the only way that they can get Dorothy to really get in there is to be grounded by the truck and then I don't know,
letting it get sucked in. Yeah, they're sending the truck up and they're jumping out. He's like, let me turn the cruise control on. So they turn the cruise control on. They jump out into the cornfield and they just send that thing up, and then they fly up like little magical fairy lights. It was like, ooh, so pretty.
Really happy moment for everybody, and everybody's like, oh my God, woo, it worked. But then real quickly, as they're getting information in, one of the team members is like, Gordon, and then that's gonna turn left. You guys gotta get out of there.
but they can't hear them, of course, because they just sent the truck in.
Yeah.
And everyone.
I'm sorry, you go for it. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say like it's really Bill and Joe, and they're there, and they're like, oh, frick. They're like,
yeah, they
shifted.
realized real quick because they were all celebrating because Dorothy was flying. Like they almost kissed and stuff, and then it's real short lived because they're like, oh fuck. And then so they start running as fast as they can. They're heading past this barn. There's like a little pony there, and I was like, not the pony.
Ponies, but they end up getting free.
They do, and they're safe. We see them running around at the end. But they're heading for a barn, and they almost get impaled with fence posts, and then they end up running into a room filled with scythes and other sharp objects that I was
they're like, what kind of people are these?
Yeah, I was like, this Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it was pretty dangerous in there. I would not want to be in there while a tornado's going on by any means.
Yeah, and they so they leave that barn. Then they almost get taken out by that barn.
By the actual walls.
The walls, start like flying at them. And then the
Jesus.
Sorry, my mom is texting me too.
Okay.
Because my mom and dad have both called me, and then my brain was all of a sudden like, scrambled, is something bad happening?
Yeah.
But my mom just said they got a whole bunch of vegetarian freezer items clearance price.
Good. That's a win. It's a win for the vegetarians. And so they're running. They're trying to get away from this barn that's getting thrown at them and all the other debris that's getting flung around by the tornado. And they end up making it close to, after dying like almost 10 times, because there's also like a tractor with like those type of tractors that have the lawnmower thing, but it's like round and barrely.
I didn't know what to call it.
I didn't either, but it almost literally takes them out. And if that would have hit them, they would have been dead, like on contact, because of how heavy those things are and how fast it was getting thrown by the wind. But they end up making it to a shed that has like water pipes in it, a water line. And Bill was like, we need to tie ourselves to these because they go like 30, 40 feet into the ground. So they end up getting able to tie the like almost like fireman type of hose around themselves and around the pole, the pipe. And they are, they're hanging on for dear life because the tornado does come by, starts to suck around them, and all up in them, they're in the suck zone, and they get in what I would like to call like the eye of the tornado. Yeah, right? Yeah. We call it the eye. Yeah, they're in there.
That's at least what it is for hurricanes.
Yeah, and they are having a moment because it's like quite peaceful and cool and beautiful in there. And then they're like, oh, cool. And then it passes.
Yeah, they're like flying upside down and stuff. And somehow not getting stabbed to death again.
No, not one bit.
But, and then it's in the eye, there's another tornado inside of it. Like a little tiny tornado, inside the middle one. Which was crazy. But it loses steam and then dissipates, and they make it through. And they're like, whoa, didn't take the house.
Yeah, they're like, aye. And then that's whenever we have the rest of the crew coming up, the gang. The gang's all here.
Gang's all here.
They're all celebrating because they obviously got to launch Dorothy, and they're collecting all this data already. And the Bill and Joe are still tied to the poles, and they're having kind of like this little intimate moment, like, and then they end up kissing.
Yeah, because they were arguing over who was going to run the lab and stuff, and bickering, and then they were like, do you always got to do things the hard way? And then they were like, the crew rolls up and they were like, look at the sky. And they were like, I think we've seen enough.
Face.
And they start making out.
Saliva swap. I don't think they're going to last.
Yeah, probably not. It was a really turbulent relationship.
Yeah. But anyways, that
lots
is
of passion. But then we just zoom out with triumphant music playing. And everything was flattened. And this is where it looked like the slug trail, the little slime trail, where everything was flattened except the house. And then the ground is just fucked for a mile wide. And I was like, so scary.
Mm-hmm. Terrifying. A true horror movie of 2024 via 1996.
Well, we are getting Twisters coming out.
We are. So we kind of happened to cover this right at the perfect time.
We did. I know. I was telling the guy who is making our sign for Love Lady today that we were covering it, and he was like, "Oh, the new one?" And I was like, "No, the original." But it is kind of in regards to the new one too, because it's about to come out.
I would watch it.
I would watch it too. I love Twister. I've watched it. I watched this film probably 7 or 8 times in my life.
I've seen this movie probably like over 20 times.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot.
Mm-hmm. We owned it on DVD and VHS, I think, growing up. So
yeah, we owned it as well, which is why I watched it a lot too.
It always came on like, this is the type of movie that would come on like TNT, like TBS, like like you catch it on TV and while your channel flipping, and then you're like, oh, I'll watch this.
I might as well watch this
until the next commercial.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It is, and I think I'm ready to give it a rating.
Yes, how much?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah. A 4.5. I think that it is a pretty solid story. I like how that we get like a little bit of sci-fi and science and weather drama and action mixed with the kind of really, like I said, really dramatic story of like the whole love triangle thing happening and going on between Joe, Bill, and Melissa.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, growing up too, it has a lot of nostalgia for me because like I said, all of that stuff that happened with the storms that we've had here and how I felt about weather and storms and tornadoes. And more in terms of the film, everybody's acting was pretty good. I thought that everybody's characters seemed like pretty, even like the side characters that we got little bits and pieces of, even though some of them I don't remember their name. The ones I remember, like you said, were Rabbit and Dusty. Everybody's character, even like the way they looked, though, like I just got you'd get who everybody was essentially, and they're part of the team. I thought it did good of like being able to captivate us on a visual level, but also even like the side drama that was happening with Jonas and all that, and then ultimately, having kind of that character where that's an asshole, and then like we get the payoff of him dying. not that like people dying in school, but you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like everything is well knit together, and it does a good job of not kind of doing also too much. I feel like it could have maybe gotten out of hand. Because there are a lot of elements actually in this movie. You got the love triangle, you got the beef between him and Jonas, you got them also trying to deploy this new weather anomaly system to get, a better emergency warning system, which is also linked to the trauma that Joe has. So this movie is also about childhood trauma. Like, there are literally so many different aspects to it. So I feel like it's because it has so many layers to it. I really liked it for that reason. So that's why I would give it 4.5.
That's fair. I agree. I think. Let me tell you my fun facts real fast. Yeah. Because they're actually really good fun facts in my opinion today. Funny. Not this first. Okay, I'm going to read this one first because the other one was not funny, but this one was funny. With a very loud and bass-heavy surround channel, this film was notorious for destroying surround speakers in theaters worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, poor theaters.
I know. That must have been so expensive. After this is the first one technically on the list, and this one is not funny. This one is touching. After Bill Paxton died in 2017, Spotter Network choreographed 200 storm chasers to spell out BP with their GPS tracker blips on a radar display to honor him. This kind of tribute has only been done 5 times before, and it was the first time it had been done for someone who wasn't a storm chaser.
That's cool. They
so
must
because
really
of
regard the movie and him highly for playing that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I knew he died, but I didn't realize it had already been since like 2017.
Well, that feels like yesterday, but also simultaneously like years ago.
No, I mean that's it. It's 7.
Yeah.
7 years ago? No. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, dang.
You got it right. You're so smart.
I got it right. Oh my God, but that is so long ago. That's crazy. R.I.P.
Filming in Oklahoma was briefly delayed due to the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City on April 19, 1995. Many of the crew went on site to help with the recovery efforts.
Oh, wow.
That's and then, cool of them. I know, that is really sweet. The production bought 8 blocks of houses in the old downtown area of the real town of Wakita, Oklahoma, for $7,000 to $10,000 per house. These houses and an additional 30 homes built by the production were subsequently demolished by the film's crew for the scenes after the twister passes. The town later rebuilt the downtown area and also kept the new fire truck used in the film.
That's cool.
Yeah, except for that sucks that they demolished old downtown Wakita.
That's true. But what if it wasn't even like upkept,
habitable?
Yeah,
that's fair.
Could have done them a favor. But also, I know nothing about that, and I should not qualified, so I won't say anymore. Give me another fact.
Oh, that was all of them.
That was all of them. Oh,
well, there's 50 more. I can read more if you'd like.
No, if those were like the most like kind of interesting, if you thought.
This was the first movie released on DVD and the last released on HD DVD.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how they claim that, both of those. But yeah, first one to be released on DVD.
That's cool. That's according to it, which is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool claim to fame.
Yeah, so
that's good.
I think I would personally give this film. I'm tempted to give it a 5.
Give it a 5.
Yeah, I've got lots of nostalgia tied around this film. I grew up watching it. Like I said, I've driven over, like I've been to some of the places in Oklahoma where this happened. And I remember like my parents pointing out like, oh, this was the bridge in Twister, or like they filmed part of Twister here. And, remember thinking that was really cool. And I watched it, when I was pretty young and stuff. And it put a healthy dose of fear in me of tornadoes. So this movie actually really does scare me because I am terrified of tornadoes. There's few things in this world that like actually scare me, but tornadoes, I like cry during them. Or anytime sirens start going off, I'm like, no,
what's happening?
Yeah. And so I freak out really badly. So this movie it's genuinely terrifying to me. So, and I think that's the whole point of our Boo system rating is like, how good did this movie scare you too? And this movie does scare me. And like you said, all the acting was great. Helen Hunt did a phenomenal job. And then Bill Paxton did as well. Like even like Carrie Eels, or however you say his name. I'm gonna call him Carrie.
Yeah.
Ew. He's got such a wide variety of characters that he can play, and he made me hate him in this film. And while he plays such lovable people in other films, and so like to see his range and stuff, that was really cool. I thought all the special and practical effects looked really good. Like, I don't know if they actually really chased storms because these tornadoes didn't look fake.
Yeah.
They looked real. They couldn't have possibly put them in that much danger.
I'm sure
Well,
they're
they did a
fake,
good job of faking them.
They could have mixed like real thunderstorms with them imposing like a tornado in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they did, it looked good. The only part that I had a qualm with was that radio, the satellite. It looked like it was made of clay or something.
That looked fake at the beginning.
Yeah. Looked real bad. But yeah, I think overall I would give this film a 5. Just purely nostalgia, and the storyline was great. I did enjoy the love triangle as well. I feel so bad for Melissa. She really got fucked over in this. First off, she got the trauma of having to sit through multiple tornadoes, literally, not willingly.
For nothing.
Yeah, and just to have to leave him because he's making eyes at his ex-wife.
Ugh, that sentence within itself, honestly, though.
It's so sad. But yeah, I think this is a great film. You should watch it. I hope Twisters lives up to how good this film is, because this film is honestly one of my like favorite childhood films. Like I really enjoyed watching this growing up, and it did scare the shit out of me. Now, is all of it believable? Like, do I think that leather belt looking thing would have actually held them on that pipe without like splitting?
Maybe not.
During like 200-mile-an-hour winds.
And leather in the heat, doesn't it lose its integrity?
Yeah.
And that thing's been outside in the hot sun and stuff, doing stuff.
Yeah, so it could have been real brittle and stuff. So, do I think that's necessarily believable? No, but it's okay. Movie magic. We love it. Movie magic. And yeah, so a 4.5 and a 5 from your boobays for this weather horror thriller film.
Sci-fi.
Action. Sci-fi. Yeah, we're doing this in our month of sci-fi. So
Eureka.
For
who knows
Twister.
what our next movie will be, but we will let you know. We'll find out.
Please stop that. Suki's like scratching the wall and it sounds like nails on chalkboard.
Poor baby. She wants to break free. Why do you have her chained to the confines of your room?
She's got 2-bedroom house to run around.
Let her outside. She wants to go outside.
She would not survive. Yams would probably survive, but Suki's a little baby.
She wants to pounce.
You come here. She actually did come here.
Oh, she's a sweetie.
Yeah, she's a good girl. But okay. Yeah, 4.5 and a 5, so it makes it a 4.75.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah.
From your boobays for 1996's Twister.
Twister just came out when we were 2 years old.
Yep, little babies.
Oh, it came out. No, I wasn't even. I was a year and 11 months and whatever days, 31 days, because it came out on May 10th.
Oh.
Or not a year. I was 11 months. I can't count. I'm dumb. My bad, you guys. I'm not dumb. I'm important and kind and strong and smart. There we go. That one.
You are. But,
yeah.
I was 2 years old.
Yeah, you were. Right? I was 11. Yeah, because your birthday's in January. No, you were 2. No, yes, you were 2. Yeah, 96.
Yeah, you would have been a year and 11 months old.
Oh, okay, I'm right. Okay.
Yeah, if it was 95, you would have been 11 months old.
Can't think. Can't do math at the end of the podcast.
Stop.
Well, you guys, like always, we're being recorded by the lovely Rogue Media Network Studios. They take good care of us. And as always, you can listen to our podcast and a slew of other podcasts on their website, which is roguemedianetwork.com. Yes. And you can listen to us on any streaming podcast service. Sorry, it took me a second to kind of put that together. You could do that on Apple.
Or Spotify. Suki's clawing my peacock chair.
Oh, no, she can't do that.
So I was trying to find something to throw at her.
You have to push mute and yell at her like I do with the doggos.
I don't know how to mute it.
Isn't yours like mine? Do we not have the same one? This one?
We do. Do I just press the button? Oh, and that mutes it?
And when it's green, it's good. Yeah, you couldn't hear me saying you can't hear me when it's red.
You couldn't hear me say hello. Okay. Well, sorry, I yelled at her on camera. and on microphone. But yes, you can find us on Spotify or Apple, but wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right, because that is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And tell your friends, tell everybody. It's a good time. And then get ready to watch Twisters too. And then let us know if Twister scares you as well. And you can do so on our one social media platform, which is Instagram, and that is at
Boobays Podcast, and that's at BOOBAES, because we're your boobays, not your boobabes.
That's right. And who knows what we're covering next time? We don't. We'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, I was going to say something, but then I forgot. I don't remember. It's okay. Next time. And until then.
Bye, bays.
Bye, bays.
Boobays.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.